All right, ladies, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so very much appreciate them. These are all heterotaxy parents. So this is something near and dear to all of our hearts. So first question is, what has isolation looked like for you in your rare disease journey? And yes, you are all parents, so
We need this one.
all three of those are all live. Come a little bit closer.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so the biggest thing for me was just nobody knowing what was going on. So I didn't find HC until after my son was born. So that initial isolation was just, I mean, I don't even have a word to explain it. You try to talk to your family members about it as much as you can, but they just, they don't get it. They don't get that your baby is inside of you and these things are going on. So trying to process all of that as a young mom, it was really difficult. And so I really just kind of shut down during my pregnancy, which I'm sure a lot of moms do. But for me, the isolation was just, I really didn't talk a lot.
My isolation was more actual isolation, so I'm a military spouse, and so I was 3,000 miles away from home and everyone that was in my support circle. And so social media was my support circle, and it was not that robust at the time. My spouse was working in a position where he would be gone for 3 days at a time. And we didn't know our neighbors. I was literally like in this house, and my husband would show up for appointments and then he'd go back to work. And so it was just a very lonely space. And then when I made phone calls, what Karli was saying, families don't understand. Everybody wants to help fix the hurt. And in first diagnosis, I don't even know what it is yet. What the heck is this heterotaxy thing, right? I'm still trying to figure it out. We're calling other people, trying to get support, and everybody's trying to offer a solution. Oh, she doesn't have a spleen. Well, do you think they can just transplant one? And all these really ridiculous things, even stuff like when your daughter's in pain, bring her to New Mexico, we'll put her in the hot springs, because that always makes my knee feel better, right? I mean, really ridiculous things that actually wasn't helpful. It made me feel more isolated. Those meaningful things made me not want to seek their comfort because I did not have the bandwidth to explain myself, right? So there is an emotional isolation and there's a physical isolation.
I would say for me, as far as like isolation, I think it depends on the season you're in your journey. So in the beginning, definitely social media and just trying to like Google until I could Google no more to figure out like where do I find people that have even just heard of it. And I would say as the journey has progressed, I had a best friend for 20 years that just didn't get it and would put my daughter in like complicated situations. So having to choose, which was an easy choice, but obviously, just losing like people that you thought maybe got it, but just didn't. And then piggybacking off of Monica, I would also say like, for me to not feel so isolated or just alone, like social media has been a big part of it, and just finding your community or your people, even like for my daughter, just finding others in our community that she can relate to, whether it be heterotaxy or CHD. I think it's just been super beneficial to find that support to help bring you out of that either physical, mental, or emotional isolation.
I would agree with what everyone has been saying here. We actually moved all the way across the country. So we had that, like, we didn't have any family on this side of the country. We left everything we knew and everyone we knew in California and came out this way. And social media actually was our lifeline. That was actually what got us to seek a second opinion. We were talking to doctors initially, and just the amount of people who had heard of heterotaxy, it was just like a blip on the radar or a blip in a book. And talking to the families on the social media, the heterotaxy families was really our lifeline. And they were such a huge support. And like was said, it's been different stages throughout the different, throughout the years. And so now we're also dealing with the fact that she now understands, oh, I am a bit different. And so I can't, I'm not necessarily seen or can do many of the things that my friends can do. And so we're kind of dealing with that and how that can be isolating, especially if going and wanting to do activities and wanting to play with all sorts of friends or even siblings.
Thank you. So I want to share a quick little story. This is something that has resonated with me over the years, but a heterotaxy parent fell in a hole. Family member says, "What hole?" A boss says, "Oh, that's a shame. You can take a day off." A doctor says, "Can you keep a diary of your experiences with that hole?" The government will say, "We will assess the size of the hole. However, it may take up to 18 months. Your local authority, "Sorry, we don't have enough money for a ladder." A charity, "Here's a form, fill it in to apply, get on the waiting list," or maybe a ladder. And then another heterotaxy parent, "I'm here. I've been in that hole. I'm coming down there with you. I know how to get out, and I won't let you do it alone." So I want to ask these ladies what that felt like when you felt that first heterotaxy parent come and say, "I've been where you are, and I'm going to help you through this."
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back to Nisha on a pumpkin pie that I received because I delivered my daughter the night before Thanksgiving. And I had a beautiful pumpkin pie waiting for me, although we did not get to meet in person. That was like my first personal connection to another heterotaxy parent. That just felt really special. And it's like, it's a great memory to me, for me to have. And I even shared with Brooklyn last night, like, maybe that's why she loves pumpkin pie so much. But then I will also say, like, that first conference in 2015 where you just really meet everybody. So not just the individual people you can connect with, like, at your center, but the families that you have grown to know over social media. And that first conference, I still have families that we connect with. And even my husband, he still talks to like one of the other dads. And he doesn't really talk to many people in the medical community, but he had found his person that he can go back to. So I would say just those interpersonal connections at that conference.
Way to make me cry.
Well, since you mentioned that conference was what I was going to bring up as well. My daughter was 1, and it was close enough for us to make the drive from our isolated little home on base, 3,000 miles from home. And so we made that drive. And because our only connection with these people was on social media, it was a little bit, let's put some humor in there, kind of like online dating. And there's somebody you've been talking to for a year and you finally get to meet them. Like, I was a little bit starstruck. Maggie's daughter came up with her cute little blonde curls. And came up to my daughter first before coming up to us and introducing herself. And my daughter's like, okay, she was 1, so she was just like, all right. But my daughter remembers little bits of that conference. And she was 1. She's 11 now, and she still remembers aspects of that conference. She's in there playing with Brooklyn right now. The fact that we could even go to the conference because we were told that she had a 15% chance to make it to 1, and here we are at 1 and with older kids, and they're playing, and that it didn't matter that these are people that lived all over the country anymore. It was like there was this little bit that we took home that it would be okay, no matter where the journey ended up. Somebody gets it, right? Finally, somebody gets it. That was huge.
I think I'll do both. So when I first heard heterotaxy, I Googled, which was the worst thing to do. And of course, there was only one medical journal that I found, and it was a woman in Spain who was 35. And so I had some hope, but like the only thing I could think of was, oh my gosh, this is Spain. And so just that initial meeting over social media and seeing Nisha's daughter, seeing Christian and Ethan, oh my gosh, like it brought so much hope. And especially when we were going through such a hard time when she was little, and then meeting in person. So we have my oldest is named Ethan as well, and so we always think of Allie's son as little Ethan. And so just meeting them in person, it really was like almost like an online dating thing where you're just like so excited and starstruck, like to meet in person, that it's somebody who understands just like you.
Mine, I will say, is Easton was not born prior to the first conference, so mine would be the second one. Easton was about 3, and just like the welcome when you come in, you're not really sure what to expect because obviously we saw everything on social media and everybody. So, I mean, I literally just told Maggie this morning or yesterday that Brooklyn's posts were the first posts that I kind of saw coming into this. And I was like, wow, there really are families out there like me. But then also at this conference today, this morning, my son was like, I don't want to go in the room. He's done this for 2 conferences now. And I went and checked in there, and him and Ethan are playing together. And I feel like this conference for Easton is now really the one where he's being able to build those bonds himself. And so this one, for me, is really special.
One more thing I want to say, and I think all of you can agree, there is nothing better than the feeling of walking into a room and not having to explain yourself.
Yes.
Like, you live your life on edge, and it's hidden. Like, all these kids, you look in there, you just think it's just a bunch of kids, but oh my gosh, the journey they've been on is like Lord of the Rings, and they've just come back to their village and nobody will ever understand what they've been through, right? And it's such a relief to walk into this room, to this hotel, and like, I'm gonna be among people that get it, and that means so much. Okay, I'm done.
I love that. I love hearing how each of you have connected with each other and how it's impacted you. So how has technology changed the way you connect with others in the rare disease space?
So I think for me, I mean, obviously we're in the age of social media and things like that. So that was my first connection to everybody with that. But then also with the social media, being able to reach people from around the globe and build those connections. So for me, my primary use of the technology right now is just the Facebook group and being able to connect with families that way and seeing families share their stories.
I found that technology, what a great day and age to live, you know? I realized that if my daughter was born 10 years prior to when she was, she may very likely not be here today. And then when we find something that works, the ability to just instantly share, which reminds me, somebody asked me if they could see a document that I have, just for an example, and I still need to send it to that person. But it's like, I can instantly help another family who I've never met, and their life can be better because of this, and vice versa. And how beautiful that is. Let's just keep taking advantage of that.
I would say as far as technology, again, like social media, and even Cristina, we just had like one of the Warrior Wednesday posts. Brooklyn has this cough that sounds terrible. Like when everybody hears her cough, they think she has got this bacterial infectious illness and they don't want to come anywhere around her. But we have come to find out within the last year she has tracheobronchomalacia. And so we were able to connect because her daughter has it also. And so we were kind of joking about like what their coughs sound like. But Brooklyn was like yesterday so excited. Is she here? Because she just wants to talk to her daughter about their coughs and like just how unique and different they are. And then I would say also how technology in my daughter's journey specifically, she was one of the first in our center to have her last surgery as virtual reality. And that was not anything we found out until the day of surgery. And because of that technology, she is the bivent, which she was never supposed to be. So I would just say that gives me the ability, like our center did a piece on her in virtual reality. So I do share that a lot with other families that are like looking down the bivent path or just like, you know, asking for hope or support. It's just a way for me to share like that different experience and how far technology has come.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what you guys have all said. We wouldn't be here in Massachusetts hadn't it been for social media, to be honest. And I probably could say I don't think she would be around without a doubt. But social media has come, or even just technology has come so far. We have a 3D printed heart and images that we can show and talk to doctors with, and they explain to us, and it's just, it's so eye-opening, especially for visual people like me. And then on the other hand, my daughter plays with Lauren over video games, and they absolutely have the greatest time, and they relate to so much because they've been through so much and similar experiences, which is heartwarming to see.
Very much appreciate that, and it's so fun to watch the different ways in which everybody has used technology to connect with others and to better their lives. So what role do medical professionals play in helping families feel less isolated?
So I feel like medical professionals should have a very large role in that. But I feel like, and this is why we're here, and this is why we have these conferences and why things are put together. I will say that I did not get any help or anything of that sort from medical professionals for Easton when I was feeling isolated. So I feel like it's something that needs to be improved upon a lot. And again, that's why, you know, doctors are coming and speaking and creating these centers for excellence that will hopefully help these families that are coming in and with younger children and help our older children deal with things in the families moving forward.
Being a military family, we've been in front of many different medical professionals, and one of the things I've always looked for, and I found my mama bear, and really quickly can just say, that's someone I want to work with, or that is not someone I want to work with. And one of the things is in that beginning dialogue, there's something along the lines of letting me know that I am on their team. I love it. I just boosts my ego when they say, you're your daughter's expert. So I'm going to listen to you. And I'm like, yeah, you are. But then it takes down those barriers. And I cannot tell you how many times we've saved my daughter's life because of that motherly instinct, and a doctor listened. And also some doctors didn't listen, and we walked away and found someone that did. And doctors out there, job security, listen to your patients, and they'll stay with you. So that's where it starts, is that idea that we are all on a team. You're part of that community that we're trying to maintain.
I would say I feel like sometimes, at least in our inexperience, I know quite a few of the families that are there, and we have a nurse, and my daughter's cardiologist has been with us since she was in my belly. And they kind of know that we have all these connections, but I think HIPAA prevents them from just being like transparent. So they give like their roundabouts a little bit, and then you kind of get your cues on who and what we're talking about. So I think as far as that goes, it makes it hard for them to maybe figure out how to, when you feel isolated, maybe connect you with more that patients that they know that they have that same diagnosis. So one ways that I have found is like I will give my cardiologist the resources that I have, and I just ask her to, she is also the interstage doctor, so she sees a lot of the CHD patients, so I just ask her to like put it out there, like let other families know that we have a community out there for them.
I can't praise Boston enough. They are absolutely amazing, the doctors that we have dealt with. They have provided so many connections and resources, from a pediatrician to family events that just took place. And I think it just kind of depends on where you go, really. Or those networking opportunities. But I do want to also add that shared responsibility or shared discussion between providers and families is so crucial. And having that open communication and understanding, it helps not only in the treatment plans, but also in the recovery. I remember having huge conversations of what would recovery look like, and whether or not it meant going to a rehabilitation center or getting the chance to go home. And being fortunate enough to allow her to just go home with added supports, and she recovered so quickly.
Thank you. So we do have brochures for you if you would like to take some and give them to your providers so that they can pass them on to other families. Due to privacy practices, they cannot tell you who the other families are, but they can certainly pass on our information to them in hopes that they reach out. So let me know if you would like those, and I'm happy to order more. So we just have a couple more minutes, but I wanted to ask one last question. What advice would you give to someone newly diagnosed who feels utterly alone?
I'll make mine short, but that your feelings are valid. Anything that you're feeling, that is valid. And don't let people tell you that it's not. And it's okay to have those just stages of grief that you have. That is something that I wish somebody would have told me, that all of those things that were running through my mind, it's okay to be feeling those things.
The advice I would give is, as desperate as we are to find community, the quality of the community that you do find matters. Caregivers go through a lot. We're always focused on the patient, but if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your child, right? And so find the community wherever that is, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's the old lady down the street that used to be a ICU nurse and all that, whatever it is. Don't find grandpa so-and-so that wants you to dip your infant in the hot springs, okay? Find people that can support you in a way that makes you not feel like you have to explain yourself all the time.
Oh, no, I didn't. I would just say, like, as much as you feel alone, you're not alone. Once you find that support, it is key to really helping you feel more secure, more empowered in my decisions, more connected to what I was researching, but then also, like, applying it. And just realize that there is a community out there for you.
Mine would be take each step one at a time, whether that's a couple months, couple years, couple seconds. Just take each and every single moment at a time.
Thank you, ladies. As you can see, we have a wealth of knowledge up here, but also in our communities and in our support group. And my hope is that we take forward from this the knowledge that we can make a difference, that just reaching out to that one person, finding out that that one person just is giving birth and you happen to be in town for Thanksgiving, and making that half-hour trip to make sure that they know that they're not alone. You can make a difference. So I very much appreciate you and all of you in the community that are reaching out to others to make that happen. Thank you.